1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Aaron in the morning. Robert is on vacay. My pal Dan Keel is here.
Good morning.
And Matt Parker at the controls. And we're joined by Shauna Sanford, Governor John Bel Edwards' communications director, the head cheese in charge. Is that right?
No, that is not right. Not the head cheese in charge. It is a total team effort, and we all work together, and very happy to do so.
Well, I got it.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you guys' willingness to come in. I know this has not been pleasant. I know the governor. The governor's been accused of lying and doing things that our local sheriff's not happy with. And, a lot of times folks would just not even respond. You guys are willing to talk about it, and let's try to get to the bottom of it.
Sure.
The sheriff's wife, Carolyn Prator, was nominated by several local agencies to serve on the Red River Waterway Commission. The governor declined to appoint her. What was his reason for declining?
Well, we understand that Mrs. Prator and Sheriff Prator are not happy with the decision, and it's not that the governor declined to appoint her. If you look at the makeup of this board, there are 11 members. There are 7 parish seats, and there are 4 at-large seats. And according to the statute, the governor can appoint anyone from any one of those 7 districts to the at-large seats, and that's exactly what he has done. Historically, if you look at it over the decade, Caddo Parish has had 1 parish seat and 1 at-large seat, and to this day, Caddo Parish maintains that balance of 1 parish seat and 1 at-large seat. And yes, Ms. Prator did receive nominations, but the governor is not obligated to select someone simply because they are nominated. The governor can choose anyone from any one of those 7 parishes, which he did. It should also be noted that the gentleman who is filling that seat is from Caddo and was nominated as well. So because the Prators disagree with the decision that the governor made, it does not mean that it was made in a vindictive way. It's not anything against Mrs. Prator. A lot of thought and consideration went into it. The gentleman who was selected, he was the Caddo Parish Levy District's attorney, very familiar with the commission, very familiar with the issues that they have to deal with, very knowledgeable and very qualified. And again, he is someone who was nominated by one of the nominating organizations. And according to the statute, if you read the statute, it says that those nominations have to be made within 30 days of a vacancy. And this is an issue that has come up, and we address this issue as it comes up. This is not us bringing this forward, but this is what has been brought to us. And if you look at the statute, it clearly says that nominations have to come within 30 days of a vacancy, not 30 days of a notification of a vacancy. When those notifications go out, that's entirely up to the discretion of the commission.
Well, Shauna, how do these agencies know of a vacancy if they're not notified?
Well, when is the declaration of the vacancy?
They're notified by the commission. Now, when the commission sends out the notifications, we don't have anything to do with that. And this seat became vacant in early February, not late February. So the 30 days started
wait a minute.
before the notification.
Let's define the vacancy for just a second.
Okay.
What date are you using? Are you saying his death was the vacancy, or was there a notification of a vacancy, or was it this letter from the Red River Waterway Commission that notified people of it?
Yeah, the vacancy, the seat became vacant upon his death, which was February 5th.
And how are these agencies to know that? I mean, they don't look at the obits every day.
Well, what the commission notifies them. When the commission notifies, I don't know what goes into the decision by the commission to notify these nominating organizations, but they are notified. But the thing to be very clear about here is that the governor, in accordance to the law, is still not obligated to select someone simply because they are nominated.
Okay, so I looked at the statute you're talking about. It's the Louisiana Revised Statute 342303 and Part D. And I couldn't find any case law that interpreted this particular statute. I guess we could interpret what vacancy is because I disagree with you. But it says within 30 days after occurrence of a vacancy prior to the expiration of the term of office of any member or an opening. The aforesaid representative nominating bodies shall, in the parish where appropriate, designate a nominee for the new term or to fill the vacancy. And then it says, from the list of panel of names submitted, the governor shall appoint the parish member for the new term or to fill the vacancy as soon as possible after the names of the nominees of the respective nominative bodies have been received by him. So I'm looking at a letter from the Red River Waterway Commission to the bodies that do that nominating. It's dated February 23rd, and it says Mickey died. So it puts them on notice. Is that not a declaration of a vacancy? That's a question we can disagree about. But then on March 8th, let me finish here just a second, real quick.
Okay.
March 8th, there's a letter from the Caddo Levy District nominating Carolyn Prator. And it's signed. And then the Red River Valley Association nominates Carolyn Prator March 13th. And then the Caddo Parish Commission on 22nd of March has a resolution nominating Carolyn Prator. So where does the nomination for this other dude that you were talking about earlier come from? Were there other nominees for the opening when Mickey Prestridge died?
No, Mrs. Prator was the only one who was nominated. Her nomination was the only nomination that came in. The gentleman who replaced him was nominated in late last year when there was another opening on the commission. He did receive a nomination.
We're kind of twisting words a little bit around between the at-large position and the nomination of an opening. Are we not?
No, we're not. No, we're not twisting words at all. I was simply making the case, not the case, but stating the fact that this gentleman also received a nomination at the time that there was an opening on the commission. So clearly, he is someone who the commission wanted to be a part, or one of the nominating organizations wanted to be a part of the commission.
But it says as soon as possible after the names of the nominees have been received by him. When did he actually do it? And the nominee he received by him was Carolyn Prator. I'm missing how he had an option.
So what happened? So here's what happened. There was an at-large seat, and Mr. Latier was in the at-large seat. The governor then, when upon the death of Mr. Prestridge, after that seat became vacant, and the governor gave careful consideration and thought about who should fill that seat. The governor moved Mr. Latier to that vacant seat, and that at-large seat became open again, and the governor filled that position with a gentleman from Rapides Parish, which that seat had been held by someone from Rapides Parish for over a decade. There is still the balance of the Caddo Parish having representation in the at-large seat and Caddo Parish having representation in the parish seat.
Shauna Sanford, Governor's Communications Director, I take issue with that because we have Roy Burrell, Ron Latier from Caddo Parish, and we have David Jones from Bossier Parish, and we had Mickey Prestridge. We had 4 representatives. Now we have 3. Caddo Parish alone funds 40% of the Red River Waterway Commission. We are not represented equally with regard to that.
Let me be very clear about what the statute says, because for a very brief time there were 3 members from Caddo, but if you go back and you look at historically, Caddo Parish for over a decade has had 1 parish seat and 1 at-large seat. And that property tax, what you're talking about there, that is based on legislation, and that is legislation that's a statute that was approved by legislators, and it was also approved by the commission. And so to be very clear, the statute does not say that certain parishes have to have certain numbers of representatives on that commission. If, in fact, that is something that they want, then that is something that would have to be changed legislatively.
It says 1 member from each of the 7 parishes, right?
That's right.
And 4 members at large.
From each of the 7 parishes, and 4 at-large members. And the governor has the authority to select someone from any one of those 7 parishes to sit on those at-large seats.
Shauna Sanford, let me go here one more time. The only notification Carolyn Prator got that she was not appointed was, and I'm quoting now, was when Senator Tarver called me, Sheriff Prator, and said the governor was mad because I disagreed about justice reinvestment. So he wasn't going to appoint her, period, only reason. The governor told Senator Greg Tarver that.
That is incorrect.
Incorrect.
I heard that is totally incorrect. I want to be very, very clear about that. That is not a correct statement at all. We spoke to the governor about this, and he made it very clear that that is not the exchange that happened between the 2 of them. They had a very wide-ranging conversation when Senator Tarver brought up this whole issue of Sheriff Prator opposing criminal justice reform and wanting to know if that would prevent or had anything to do with preventing Carolyn Prator from taking that position. The governor made it very clear that one didn't have anything to do with the other.
Did the governor make it very clear that Carolyn Prator was not accepted as a nomination? Did he communicate with her at all as her rejection or her reshuffling or whatever you want to call it?
It wasn't a rejection, and I don't. It's not. It wouldn't be.
Did the governor communicate with Ms. Prator?
Rejection.
That's my question.
The governor has not communicated with Ms. Prator. No, the governor has not communicated with Ms. Prator, and it wasn't a rejection of Ms. Prator. This is not to take anything away from Ms. Prator. The governor looked at the information that he had. He looked at the makeup of the board. He looked at what has been the case historically, and he looked at the qualifications of those who he potentially would put in that seat, and decided to make the decision that he made. It was the best decision in his opinion, and he stands behind that decision, and it was made in accordance to the law.
Do you see how our community's upset about this? The Caddo Commission, the Caddo Levy District, the Red River Valley Association, our local area all wants this young lady to serve in that position.
Well, I have to tell you that I don't know when you say that the community is upset about it, because we have not received any information that the community is upset about it. What we're getting is, questions about it from the media, but we're not getting any information that the community is upset about this, because the community still has the same representation that it has had for over a decade. It still has a parish seat, and it still has an at-large seat.
So previously, Mickey Prestridge was the at-large member, right?
He was in the parish seat.
He was in the parish seat. That's what I thought. And yes. So when I read paragraph D, when it says there's a vacancy in the parish seat, that from the list or panel of names submitted, the governor shall appoint the parish member for the new term or to fill the vacancy as soon as possible. So we got two things. We've got a parish seat with a nominee, Carolyn Prator, to fill the parish seat, and he's supposed to do it as soon as possible. So we're talking August. So here's the thing. Well, when you're not answering my question, just a second.
Okay.
And you're good. You're the cannon fodder that they send out to take the blows in this deal. I get that. But what I'm saying is, how do you explain that the parish seat, which was the opening for Mickey Prestridge, is not filled from that list of vacancy in the last language of paragraph D? You keep talking about the statute. I'm looking at it.
Right, and the statute, it says that the nominations have to be made within 30 days. The governor moved Mr. Latier, who is in an at-large seat, to that parish seat, which he can do.
He's not on the list or panel of names submitted, though.
He doesn't, but the governor does not have to select from the list of names that are submitted. He does not have to do that.
Take a look at paragraph D.
I know what the statute says, and because you're interpreting it one way, that's fine. We understand it to mean what we're saying, which is that the governor does not have to select from the list of names that are submitted.
Are we giving up the timing argument? Is it no longer a case that was out of time?
Well, like I said, we're not. Here's the thing: that is not an issue that we raise. That's an issue that has been raised by others, and we're responding to it.
Gotcha. I appreciate you telling us that, and I apologize for being blunt with you, but you're going.
And the allegations from the sheriff, and there have been others, I'm just going to say, it's out there, that this governor is vindictive. How do you respond to that?
Not true. Governor Edwards is not vindictive. He's made it very clear that the sheriff's opposition to criminal justice reform had absolutely no weight, no bearing whatsoever in this decision. And he simply made the decision that he felt was the best, and he did it in accordance to the law.
And for the record, we like John Bell Edwards personally. We have since he was running. We like to hear him on our radio station.
Well, great. I'm happy to hear that. And really appreciate you guys for taking the time and allowing me to come on this morning.
Shauna, thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you.